EP.1, it was fun. I was a bit less aggressive, and I guess it's paid off. I'm going to see my times, and I hope it has, because before it was not really good.
I'm Joseph Gachecheh. I am 17 years old. I'm currently the last junior champion in the rallycross, and I enjoy racing cars. The first time I discovered my interest in cars was I was about 3 years old, and my uncle actually put me into the seat of his Peugeot, I recall, and started the engine, and from that point onwards, any car that I got the chance to sit in, to start it, was bare happiness for me. Just being allowed to start the car, that was what I defined as happiness. I first started karting at GP Karting in Langata on one of the weekends of going to enjoy myself and have fun. And it initially started with attempting to set lap records for the day, which then escalated to lap records for the week, and eventually then I set a lap record which stood on the top for about 6 months. And from that point, my mom then allowed me, with the support of my grandfather, to enter the karting championship that was taking place in the TGRV in Maimahio. I was 11 years old, but I was racing against very good drivers, the likes of Mudassir, who won the championship in 2016, and Anthony, who was a very strong competitor for the both of us. In the 2017 season, we had Nir Shah join us, and their competition led to me forcing myself to improve my driving, and good support as well from Mudassir, who was a competitor but also a very good friend. I took part the whole season of 2016 and 2017. From which that gave me a great basis to now move on to the gravel rallying, as the base of racing in terms of the lines, car control, all starts from the go-kart. The 2016 hill climb, I volunteered to the organizers at that time, Guvi, who is currently the clerk of course of the WRC Safari Rally. And he very kindly allowed me to help with the time cards, relaying it between the timing officials and the drivers. So when they'd come in from the heat, my job would basically be to give the time card to the officials, give them the stamp, and return it to the driver. We don't have the finances in motorsport to allow for a full paid crew. So volunteers are a necessity. Grateful for all the volunteers that we do have today, and the past ones who were great in aiding the building of motorsport and are a necessity, as I stated. Raji Barrage, since I started watching rallying, had always been someone to watch, and when I first got the interest of the Kenya National Rally Championship, he was one of the guys at the top amongst the likes of my now teammates Baldev Chagar and Flash Tundo. So in 2017, for the East African Classic, Raji had just come off a brilliant position in the 2015 East African, coming 6th in his Ford Escort and winning the Top Fry Rally in the end of 2016. So into the 2017 Classic, him and Rajay Semi were building a Porsche, the first Kenyan-built Porsche rally car. So I went to speak to my mom, who, as I stated, always supported everything that I wanted to do. And I told her, look, here there's a great driver, and let's give him some support. So she did. And on the build-up of the event, for about 2-3 months before the event, while the Porsche was being built, I got a great deal of knowledge from Rajay, from Raji, Just Raj and the whole team who dedicated their time to teaching me more about the preparation and how the car works. So they were also extremely instrumental into entering the rally world, especially from a technical point of view. Frank Tundo, he's my mentor, I can say. The first man who I sat with in the rally car and showed me how to use the dog box, how to launch the car, and through every heat in which I participated, he came back to me, as well as with Flash Tundo. They both came back to me, giving me tips on how to improve, on how to transfer the weight of the car. And Frank was extremely instrumental in my debut in motorsport, as I received a call from him about 2 weeks before the rallycross, offering me a drive. And our whole team comprised of Tash, Baldev Chagar, Flash Tundo now, and Frank, the best you can learn with. And I am truly grateful to Frank, who I had the opportunity and the pleasure to meet during his Top Fry rally in 2016 in Baringo, at the time as insurance sponsors for the event. And he is who has brought me to where I am today.
I actually put him in a car and said, okay, drive. And he wasn't that hot-headed kid that puts his foot flat and then hits the first tree that comes along. He actually thought about, he needs a bit of training, right? He listened to what he was told, and I think he's very capable of being a really good driver.
The butterflies in the stomach, the nerves were all over, especially on the start line, the first race. But once the adrenaline kicks in, all the butterflies leave.
We've seen him sort of grow from the age of, I can't even remember when I first met you, but it was a long time ago, and he had a passion, so we gave him the chance, and he excelled, and that's the main thing. So we're super chuffed that he got the chance. He's driven 2 races last year and has proved his worth, and that's the idea behind it.
We took a risk with you, but actually you showed us all and the juniors what potential you have. We're really proud to have you on our team.
Mom, of course, was very nervous that I was racing in the first place, but she's always been a staunch supporter of everything I do. Not only on my side of motorsport, but also supporting other drivers in the sport. So she told me to go for it, and there's no more blessing I could have asked for. My racecraft from the first rallycross was not good at all, actually. Which is then what led me to not perform to my personal expectations. But coming into the second one, having learned that you're not competing against who is in front of you. I was competing with the small battle instead of looking at the bigger picture in terms of the points that you're garnering throughout the heats. For the team, because rallycross is a team event, and as well as setting the lap times. Handling pressure is what I didn't have that trait, which I'm sure you would have seen the race against K on my first rallycross, which I spun out on the last corner. But we came into the second one having forgotten all of that and started afresh, and that refresh obviously gave for a lot of performance that came out and pace that I did not know was there. But we'll keep on learning. Next year we have 3 of them, and we'll be racing there and see hopefully a championship at the end. So I hope you will be a part of this journey, and we shall not disappoint, and we will fly the colors high.